In a moment, Associate Dean Mary Jo Wiggins will recognize a few of our faculty members as winners of this year's Thorsness Prizes for Excellence in Teaching and Scholarship. But first, as the Dean of the School of Law and on behalf of its faculty and staff, I congratulate the class of 2010 on the accomplishment we mark today, and I encourage you all to join me in a round of applause for the class of 2010. It is commonly said that teaching helps to keep you young because you're constantly surrounded by young people. I find the opposite to be true. Being around young people just drives home the point of how out of touch you are becoming with the generations that follow your own. And even worse than being out of touch is denial, to persist in the belief that you are hip. That is really pathetic. I'm sorry. For me, graduation brings to mind the words of a great English philosopher, David Bowie. I owned several of Mr. Bowie's albums, which were pieces of vinyl that, in conjunction with a device called a record player, allowed us to play music after we had walked 3 miles home from school in the snow. And here is Mr. Bowie's passage that graduation calls to mind for me, and I quote, "And these children that you spit on, as they try to change their worlds, are immune to your consultations. They're quite aware of what they're going through. Cha-cha, cha-cha changes." First, let me assure you that I do not think you are children. And you can be reasonably sure that I won't spit on you either. That would clearly violate the university's protocols for avoiding the spread of the H1N1 virus. Indeed, I will be stopping twice during the 35 minutes of this address to wash my hands. Why do you suppose Mr. Bowie stutters on the word cha-cha, cha-cha changes? One possibility, of course, is that the word captured his meaning but was 4 syllables short of what his poem's meter required, and more pleasing to the ear than the alternatives, like really groovy changes. I like to think, however, that Mr. Bowie's stutter recognizes the frequency of the false start as we pursue our futures. And so for those of you who came to law school because you didn't quite know what to do after college, and now find yourselves about to leave law school, not exactly sure what you're going to do after law school, or whether you will want to keep doing what you're doing next, I like to think that Mr. Bowie would tell you, in the parlance of today, be cool. Think about how things change. Since many of you enrolled in college, the solar system has lost a planet. Since you enrolled in law school, the United States has gotten its first Hispanic Supreme Court justice and its first African-American or Kenyan president. In the past, just trying to be fair and balanced. In the past couple of years, many of you will have heard for the first time the idea that something could be, quote, too big to fail. And last week, 88-year-old Betty White hosted Saturday Night Live because of a campaign waged on something called Facebook. And she was raunchy. As the Greek rock star Heraclitus said, "Nothing endures but change. Law may be more wedded to tradition than our many undertakings. But while law clings to formalities of language and decorum, it also responds as the world changes, and sometimes is the vehicle for that change. You should therefore not be surprised to hear how often the alumni I meet in my travels describe a career path that they could not have predicted when they left law school. They reacted to the opportunities that presented themselves as the world and the law changed around them, and they refined skills that made them valuable in the varied circumstances each confronted. Like Mr. Bowie, they would tell you not to worry if you approach graduation with your well-deserved sense of accomplishment tempered to some degree by a bit of uncertainty. Admittedly, you will face ups and downs in your careers. Sometimes you will find yourself struggling to maintain a poker face. Other times, you will wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy, also known as Puff Daddy and Sean Combs, according to Wikipedia, which, for the parents and grandparents in the room, is like Encyclopedia Britannica, except written only by people qualified to do so because they have internet access. But regardless of whether you find yourself feeling like P. Diddy or not, indeed, regardless even of what it could possibly mean to feel like P. Diddy, you graduates should trust in your ability to meet the challenges you face, and you should take comfort in the knowledge that most of the 13,300 USD law alumni who already face similar challenges in their careers weren't entirely sure how things would come out either, but ended up just fine. While change is both ubiquitous and vexing, it is also part of what will make your career exciting. And there are some truths that do seem to be constants. One is that there are many kinds of success by which you can measure your careers and your lives. Another is that success of any kind is highly correlated with hard work. Still another is that when we help others, we enrich our own lives. Your law degree proves that you can work hard, and it positions you well to help others and to pursue the many kinds of success you find and will find meaningful. The final constant is this: you're always welcome back at your law school. In the beginning, some of those visits may be related to your continuing to receive services from offices that remain dedicated to your success. But as soon as you're ready, we hope you will, like the alumni who came before, help the next generation of law students to make their way into the ranks of USD law alumni. And from a selfish perspective, the faculty and staff of the law school will be eager to hear how you are doing. Your successes, however you define them, are and will be a great source of satisfaction to us. Indeed, they are the reason we are here. You may not be too big to fail, but you are too smart and too well prepared to fail. And we look forward to celebrating with you the many and varied successes in your futures. Congratulations, good luck, and keep in touch.